What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming, aka Malachi36. Uno segundo, por favor, as I get everybody back online. Here we go, there we go. Nicely done. I am here with the ALWT Cast and a very special guest, friend of mine. Grew up with him, A1 since day one, just like the sauce. But we're going to introduce him in one moment. First, Abs3315. How are you doing today? Hello? Abs?
You talking to me?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Okay.
You can't hear me?
I'm just kidding.
Oh. I see what you did there.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going Gucci. How are things going on in Absland?
Absland is like pretty fabulous right now. Just, playing a lot of gaming stuff.
Awesome.
Like Apex.
Legends. Woo, woo.
Apex Legends and Final Fantasy and all that good stuff.
The whole nine. Speaking of nine, it's the 9-ball. How's it going today there, 9-ball?
Darn good. It's darn good today. Get to go back to work tomorrow, so my vacation's over.
Make that money. Make that moolah. Dinero. And down here on my bottom left corner on the screen, it is my home child, the ham diggity, the bro shiggity, Silent. How are you doing today there, Silent?
I am doing wonderful. It's good to be with you guys on here. My first time on, so now you have a nice round head to put to the voice.
Bars. There we go. And of course, surely to round out this quartet, not anti-gravity, but quintet. The tet. Gravity. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing good. I can hear 9-ball's audio right off the bat this time around, so I'm doing really good.
There we go.
I can only
we're off to a good start.
Or Malachi.
You gonna hear me?
Yeah.
I unmuted everybody, so I don't even know what that is then.
I can't hear anyone else except Malachi.
You know what? Maybe that's something with my PC since you're using it. It should be fine.
Okay. All right.
It should clear itself up in a little bit.
If you want to, I was about to say, you can actually try to give it.
I can hear him out there. It should be fine. But I'm like, can't read what you're saying.
Well,
Silent, we had to start doing captions at the bottom here.
Well, he said we should sign.
An issue when we came back.
Well, yeah.
I can hear you guys now.
There we go. Yep, it's your PC. It's your PC. So
it kicks in eventually.
Something's going on there. But yeah, so normally, anyone that's coming to watch the show, again, thank you very much for tuning in. Normally, we go ahead and give you guys gaming news, gaming content, anything that we've been hearing and what our thoughts about it. This week actually is going to be a little bit different, and today's a very special day because today is Xbox Series S and X Day. One of our very own ALWT Gaming staff right over here on my left, right there, Gravity Mark had pre-ordered himself a Xbox Series S. Unfortunately, due to shipping delays, it has been temporarily delayed. But what are some things that you're looking forward to towards the S there, Gravity?
I'm actually really looking forward to trying more Xbox games. Especially with how Microsoft has been developing this whole ecosystem with being able to game on your, whichever console you want in terms of the Xbox Series, with all of the backwards compatibility, with all of the revamped upgrades that they're having to all of those previous gen games. Like, I'm actually really looking forward to actually trying out a lot more. Just because, like, my PC, I game on that every now and then. I actually did just try gaming on my phone, streaming it with the xCloud, which I really should stick with that name. But that was pretty fun. But I'm really looking forward to doing a little bit, not super heavy duty gaming, but trying to actually get something set up on my TV, get that controller in my hand, and actually kind of do a little bit more immersion, immersion than I usually do.
Heard that. Quick side note, and this is all in good fun for anyone that's listening to this podcast on Anchor and everything like that. 9-ball. I never want to hear you say I'm a Sody Pody again, which every single time I hear someone says X-Cast, you Power Ranger charge up every time. I don't want to hear Sody Pody ever again. Ever again. But going on over to you. Oh, he's occupied. So, going on over to you. As far as, again, Xbox Series X, S, pretending you had one right now, what are the first games that you would actually download their 9-ball?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, wow. They just did that out of cloud. You knew it's what I was going to get, but unfortunately it's been delayed. It would be medium. I was looking forward to getting the medium for that one. But
Yeah.
Which one is that?
It's a horror game that takes place in, looks like 2 worlds at once.
Yep.
We're going to be moving in between the 2. Kind of like, you ever seen the movie of Silent Hill where they have like the day world and night world?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that.
Yeah. And also on top
Okay.
yeah, and like one is partaking, and again, this is just from speculation from when we watched the Xbox Series X event and Game Pass and all the good stuff. One is literally like a spiritual demonic world, and the other is like reality, but some of those areas are like ruins. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely not.
That's
I can get down on that concept.
Yeah, not a Flash type game. Not a Flash type game at all.
that's another one on my list. I'll have to pick up.
Yeah, that sounds really similar to a concept that they explored in the Titanfall campaign, to where you'd like pop back and forth between 2 separate worlds, which one would let you push forward to this. In this one, it was more of a time travel type of thing, where you'd go back to the old version, move forward about 20 feet so you could bypass the rubble that was actually in the future. It was a really neat concept. I could see them doing a
There
Yeah.
was another game like that as well. It was like, what was it? Abnormality? I can't remember what it was. It was a real old game where you would have to like repair stuff and by shifting it backwards in time. I want to say it was kind of like Blinks. I want to say Binks or Blinks. I can't remember what that was. Oh God, we're going real far back.
I remember a game called Bink, but it wasn't horror type. It was a shooter.
It wasn't horror, but it had like a similar concept where you would like
Brink.
Yeah,
The one that had all of the separate.
No, not Brink.
Oh goodness.
Brink.
Right. No,
that.
I was just tapping into what Cameron was mentioning.
Yeah.
Or Malachi.
Yeah.
I remember when people said Brink was going to be like the next Call of Duty.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was supposed to be,
yeah.
and the gosh, what was it that they used? They like implemented a ton of parkour into it, so the which actually they really adopted a lot of that moving on to the Titanfall for that, like whenever you were outside of the mechs, the pilot mechanics are really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring up Titanfall a lot because I just played through that for the first time last week.
No, not blaming you, man. Not blaming you.
And it was cool calling your Titan too, whatever you would call it down.
Yeah. That definitely is pretty cool there. I'm wondering, and this is nothing to do with Xbox, but I'm wondering. You guys brought up Titanfall, and I'm wondering if they're going to bring in the future another Lost Planet. I'm wondering if that's going to happen for like the Xbox 5, PS5, or in PC. I don't, because that one, Lost Planet, was a console exclusive, which I completely forgot. About that, and yeah, I'm wondering if that's something that's going to be in the works later on, because I know they were Lost Planet 1, 2, 3. I think they have 4, but I haven't really heard anything.
3.
There's only 3.
Only 3.
I got all 3 of them on PC.
So,
I got Lost Planet 2, which was more multiplayer, and Lost Planet 3 was more story driven. It was kind of like the prequel. Lost Planet 3 was the prequel to Lost Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I made it through. I made it all the way through Lost Planet 1. I started Lost Planet 2, and then I think around that time I got a PlayStation, and so I just kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that was actually one of the games that I was about to say, that was one of the games I've always wanted to. Yeah, that was one of the games I would definitely wanted to try to jump more into, but I didn't own a PlayStation at that time, and that was, again, because again, back in the time period, and this is going back into the earlier stages, and me and Gravity were talking about this off stream. I've always been a PlayStation guy. PlayStation 1, fantastic. PlayStation 2, even better, especially that launch lineup. Mwah. PlayStation, yep, there you go. PlayStation 3 is where they lost me because of the price. That was astronomically high. That was way too high.
Yeah, $700 when it launched.
Exactly. They had 2 unit prices. It was $700 and there was like $600, maybe $500, which back at that time period is a lot of.
That's a bargain.
Yeah.
It was sell your left kidney or both kidneys.
Yeah, it was something. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and like. During that time period, that's when Xbox was really starting to grasp up to the market, and everyone I knew, if you had a gaming console, it was either an N64 or 360. That's what it was. N64, 360 with some GameCubes around here and there, stuff like that. And again, this is the earlier, and this is like earlier stages and all that good stuff. Years went by. I even forgot about PS3 for a while there until I went to one of my buddies' house and I saw that he was playing Uncharted 2, which I've never seen before, and I was like, this game looks awesome. And then I was like, what is this on? I see over, he has the first person I ever seen in my own eyes having a PS3, and I was like, okay, how much did that cost you? And that's when he told me, and it was actually cheaper at that time period. But then I was trying to like kind of see if I really wanted a 360 or a PS3 at that time. Went back to the library. Every game that I really wanted was all PS3 exclusives. Like, you had some that was crossover. Of course, you know me, I'm a FIFA person. I love Madden as well, like some basketball games here and there. But ultimately, the games that really speak with me as far as console sellers for me are the games that have strong plots, great gameplay. That's really what it is for me. Strong plots, great gameplay. And if you can incorporate some sort of multiplayer in that, I'm not hating it. But yeah, and that's kind of what lead me on over to the PS3 side of it. But bringing it back to Xbox, Silent, what are your thoughts as far as the Xbox Series S? What if you're able to get your hands on an Xbox Series S or X today? What would be the games that you would get, and what would be your impression? You would say.
Man, I am super tempted to pick up an S series just on the fact that Phantasy Star exists.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I know there's still the chance that PSO2 loses its console exclusivity maybe sometime in the next year or so, but they haven't even given any information on that just yet. By the way, ignore me. I have no idea what to do with my hands. But going back and playing through Phantasy Star Episode 1 and 2, going back and playing through even like Card Revolution, it was garbage, but it was fun. That series just really, and Mal, you understand completely. I've dumped hundreds and hundreds of hours into those games, and it was really my first dive into dungeon crawlers and the MMOs of that entirely. Yes, I didn't have a modem, and so I never got to utilize the multiplayer functions.
Yeah,
but
you didn't need it.
I went and farmed this boss for 6 hours straight. And I got a drop, yes, and that was and now I'm playing Final Fantasy with Abs, Gravity, and Nine Ball U. Got freaking what's the other one? ESO that we're playing. Just really diving into some of these MMOs, but I can really push all that back to Phantasy Star Online back in the day.
Yeah, and
I would cry happy tears to be able to play that again.
Yeah, and that's honestly, and like ever since I got my PC, ever since I got my rig and everything like that, when I started downloading Game Pass and all these different free MMORPGs, because that's actually one of the things that got me into it too as well. I've always wanted to go ahead and get into just an open world and just be able to experience that and everything like that. But what opened that gate to it is one of the gates, I should say. One of the things that opened the gate to that was Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 with you and your bro and Jay Fields. We had a great time, and that's why I'm so heavy about it. Now it's a free download. Like, are you serious?
Right, exactly. And actually, come to find out, I've got your Trunks tune on.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to pull up. Yeah, like, I made Trunks because I love Dragon Ball Z. You guys already know that about me. I made Trunks. He has some ridiculous hair.
What?
He has some ridiculous Super Saiyan fake hair, which is not even close to it. But I only use daggers. I only use the dual daggers and stuff. It was so much fun. I remember this game GameCube days. I'm probably level 26, something like that. Nowhere near these guys at all, but it was a fantastic time, and I would love to live that again.
I may have leveled up your character at some point to use him as a body shield.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I will say, and that's one of the reasons why, when me and Gravity, we started Phantasy Star 2. Started it, got through the tutorial missions, but we didn't progress further. One reason is because we wanted to we were just beta testing it. And second, we were trying to find out the party up sequence. That seemed a little bit more difficult than necessary. Trying to party up was pretty difficult, which in the originals, it wasn't that at all. There was that annoying feature as far as if I'm on one memory card and I'm trying to come to your memory card, then you have to make sure you do certain things to get to it. That was annoying, but partying up itself, the actual essence of it, was never really that difficult. For this one, it seems to be, unless I'm just completely dumb here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe we're just overthinking it, and it's just you just gotta just click here, you're good. Maybe we're just you gotta do 3 spins. You gotta click this 10 times, then you gotta go do this specific mission, then you gotta die at this specific part. No, but
Go get a rock.
And I'll address the elephant in the room and note the fact that we were playing locally. That wasn't an online thing, so of course.
Right. Yeah, definitely. But even went back on earlier stages when I played with one of my buddies. We played the first Phantasy Star Online on PC when it came to PC, and even that wasn't difficult. So it's just what's going on right here? What's going on now? Because I found a way to do it, and when I do it though, it's just grayed out. So I was just maybe there's a part that I had to hit in the story first before I can invite him to my party or something like that. But then there's other people that's running around my game that's partied up already. So I don't get it. We're gonna dive into it more when we have more than just 30 minutes. But very excited to get back to that. And dude, if you get yourself S Series S at any point, hit me up, because I will jump on PC and play with you. I will do it in a heartbeat.
Gotcha.
Yes.
You've been hitting him up every hour.
Every hour.
No, Abs, you actually
stop.
for a little while, Abs, you actually played on my 360 for a short time, before we ended up getting PlayStation 4.
Fantasy Star Universe, right?
So what was your just I mean, I already know for you, but what was your experience with the 360 for when we actually did play it?
Well, I would say it was an experience. I was very bored during that time. I just played Xenoverse, and I drank a lot during that time, so it's not really a good question to ask me that.
You played Guitar Hero too. You played a lot of Guitar Hero.
Drank and played Guitar Hero. Yeah, no. That was so many years ago, though. I don't know. I thought the 360 was good at that time, but now if I tried to play it, I don't think I would like it. But when I played Xenoverse, not Xenoverse 2, just Xenoverse, right? Because didn't we have to buy the games again for the PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we bought. Okay, so it was the first one. Yeah, I didn't like the controller as much as I liked the controller on the PlayStation. I didn't like the buttons that much, but I did like the gameplay of Dragon Ball on the Xbox. So I guess I'm not very familiar with Xbox.
Well, when we get the Series X, I'll have to have you test it out too. See.
Yeah, I'll test it out.
Yeah, and one of the things that's going to be good.
I'll test it out.
Yeah, one of the things that's going to be good about that too is that if you remember how the Xbox controller felt, it hasn't changed.
Yeah,
it's going to be the same.
Well, I thought it changed a little bit. I heard that it's easier to grip.
And it might be. Yeah, they might make
it's
small.
No longer this big. It's this big.
Yeah, they might make some.
I've just never I don't know. I played really one game on Xbox, and Guitar Hero. We played that on Xbox. Or I thought it was on PlayStation.
No, we played that on the 360.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was. I did have fun playing that game. I don't remember much about playing the Xbox.
Yeah, in support of that argument, though, your Guitar Hero controller was the exact same, no matter what console you were on.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it was. So I don't know. Yeah, Guitar Hero. I did try to play Guitar Hero on the PlayStation once, and that wasn't fun. Or on controller in general.
Far too much Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I used to love Rock Band. when that came out.
Guitar Hero / Rock Band was the game that I played so much that if people saw me playing it in like public, it wasn't the like, wow, you're really good at this. It was like the concerned, like, are you okay? Like, you play that a lot.
I played a lot of Rock Band on my PSP.
I haven't even had Rock Band for PSP.
Yeah. They had a version of it because like I had like, and it was like the original PSP too, because like it had a version where you were able to play all 4 instruments, but you would use the bumpers to switch. Right? Yeah, like you would use
you had to jump from unit to unit to unit to make sure the rest of the band didn't fail.
Yeah, so like you'd have to like use the bumpers to switch instruments. And then you would use like the triangle, circle, and then like up and left on the D-pad to hit certain notes. But then other than that, like it was fun. I played the heck out of it on my PSP.
Interesting.
My biggest accomplishment on Guitar Hero was I could play Talk Dirty to Me on Expert without looking at the TV.
Nice.
All right, nice. I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Well, I can't.
My mom was so impressed. She was just like, "Oh my god." Listen, I'm going to call your aunt and tell her how awesome you are. You can just turn around and just play that Guitar Hero. Like, yeah, go call her aunt and like...
Please don't.
Yeah, go call her. Go call her and tell her. Yeah.
I was about to say, and before I go ahead and ask you, Abs, about what your thoughts are about the Series S and X. One of the PSP games that were for me, there was a couple of them. There's Lord of Arcana. That one was my jam for sure. Of course, Monster Hunter World. Oh, not Monster Hunter World. It was just Monster Hunter. That was my jam too.
Was it Freedom Unite that you played?
Yes, it was Freedom Unite. Yep. There's that one. And then of course you can't say PSP without saying Final Fantasy Dissidia. You can't say PSP without Dissidia. That was fantastic.
We played that during lunchtime. Remember that?
Yep, and you beat me. You beat me bad. We're not going to talk about that.
What was there was a Final Fantasy, I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. I played through it like 3 times, but the one with Zack that was only for PSP.
Crisis Core.
I got that one.
Crisis Core.
No,
Crisis Core, thank you.
Core,
yeah.
That one, I loved that.
I did too.
That was one of my all-time favorites. My friend, when he beat that, he's a tough guy, but he teared up and cried at the end of it.
Yes.
And I was just like, "Oh, you poor little guy."
Yes. Now here's the thing. The entire Final Fantasy VII universe of games and movies are fantastic until you get to Cerberus, which is all about Vincent. Yeah, when you get with Vincent, graphically it looks beautiful. The plot, the gameplay. No, they ruined Vincent in that game. That was a PS2 game. You guys know how much I love Final Fantasy VII, and for me to say that is a 2 out of 10, that's bad. That's bad. You know?
I mean, it was just one of the one-offs. Most of the one-offs were honestly garbage. You take a look over at X2. I mean,
and honestly, I still want to play. I have X2, and I still want to play it, not because of the gameplay, because I want to see what that closure looks like at 10, because the way 10 ends, and if you haven't played Final Fantasy 10 by this time period and you were interested in playing it, you had some time. So the spoiler alert, sorry. The way that 10 ends, is like Tidus is coming back. It's really Tidus, but I know in Kingdom Hearts it's Tidus. But anyway, like, Tidus, and he's a dream. He goes back to Xanark and everything like that. Yuna's all sad. The rolling credits of that game was absolutely amazing. It literally rolled credits until that. Oh, still get chills. But anyway, then you see after the credits, you see Tidus swimming back up to the surface as if he's not actually in Xanarkand anymore. And that's kind of how 10-2 kind of picks up, is that Yuna's this whole pop star type girl and everything like that with Riku and Pain, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like...
my guy that beat it.
Yeah.
So on the topic of 10-2, and I'll let us move on after this because nobody wants to hear us talk about 10-2, I'll be honest. Combat system is great. Storyline is...
Yeah,
oh god, we don't even talk about them.
I still want to get through it just to get that final bit of closure. I did actually YouTube it a long time ago, but I still want to play it and experience it for myself. But enough about Final Fantasy. ALWT 3315. What are your thoughts about the Series X and S dropping today? And if you had, like, pretending you had it in your hand for both S and X, what would be the games that you would first pick up for it?
I'm going to pass this question off to Gravity.
All right.
You can go ahead and answer that because like I said, I'm not going to know anything until I start playing it when it gets here.
Okay.
And I don't have any games in mind. Just whatever games he gets, I'm probably just going to pick them up and play too because I'm not super interested in the Xbox, but I'm willing to play and see if there's something that I would like to continue to play. That's what I'm looking forward to.
So I'll make this a dual question. So if there's anything that you want to chime in when Gravity's talking and vice versa, you guys can tag team this one. So Gravity Yabs, what are your guys' hype level at the Xbox Series S, X, and what games are you guys trying to pick up at first, whether it's Game Pass or Xbox SS exclusives?
If I gotta say exclusives, I'm probably gonna start off. I've mentioned this before. I'm definitely really interested in the Falconeer. That one looks really interesting, and it looks like this big open world game where you are just on the back of a giant falcon the entire time. And there's a lot of aerial dog fights. There's a lot of it's a lot of very interesting combats, and the art style is really interesting too. So if I have to go exclusives like that for right now, that's the one that I'm looking at, just because I'm a big open world guy. But other than that, I'm more so looking at performance. Like in terms of games, like for me, Xbox hasn't sold me on any one game other maybe than Falconeer specifically. And if anything, I'm more interested in the ecosystem that they're trying to build. I'm looking more so at what improvements they've made to their hardware to be able to run some older games, to be able to make them actually really nice. I mean, we've seen a few people talk about GTA 4. That was one I never got to play. So like that might be something that I might want to jump into and take a look at that and see what type of graphical improvements have been made with that, because the FPS on a lot of these games is getting improved substantially.
Yeah. And
that's something that that would be really something to be nice to go back to play some older games that just are a lot much more smoothed out.
I agree with Gravity on that. I probably want to play the Xbox to rerun games and see how much better they perform on that console. And, you know, with frame rates per second being a huge deal in competitive gaming, people might want to play the Xbox more to play competitive games like Fortnite or Apex, shooters and stuff. If the performance runs better than on PS5, you know, you might want to play that more competitively than you would on the Xbox than you would on the PlayStation. But I'm not sure. It just depends if they really exceed at those expectations on performance. And they say they will.
Yeah. To be honest with you,
I'll touch on that as well.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Especially with all of these developers getting huge right now with cross-play. If you have the choice to play a game that you're going to be playing with the same people one way or the other, but you have your reaction time be that much better on the one console, that's the one these professionals are going to be drawn to.
Right. I've been playing on the PC and I see a huge difference.
Yeah, I've heard of people in versus like on, for example, CS:GO. Those pro gamers, what they do is they take their all their graphic things, turn them all the way down, just to hit 500 frames per second. Yeah, they clock 200 to 500 frames per second on CS:GO, just for that advantage.
Everything looks like a potato, but it's running great.
Definitely from a competitive standpoint too. The more competitive you want to get into gaming, you'll be looking at the performance a lot more. But I think PlayStation 5 has so many games I was looking forward to. But Xbox, not really in that sense. But the performance, if the performance really good, I'll be playing games that I used to play on the PlayStation on the Xbox instead. Because why wouldn't I?
Another thing they've got that's real good, I'll give Xbox this, is their library. Unlike PlayStation, Xbox is bringing all their games. I'm still, like I said, I'm still able to bring like Fatal Frame and all those games can come with, because all Xbox games, even the OG like Unreal Tournament and Unreal Championships,
I loved Unreal Tournament, can
still run on those going forward. They said all their games will always be backwards compatible within all their things, which is good. It sets up a really large library to bring your games with you. I guess to hold you over, because I did hear a weak point is right now the library, but this is going to be fixed over time. So until they get like a good enough library with all those places that they bought, you will have a substantial amount of resources and things to try out and play.
Right.
I see you, Carrot.
Yep. You see that, the defend the PlayStation Sony pony. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Now, I was about to say, honestly, and like, if I can play Def Jam Fight for New York on the Series X with optimized graphics, that'd be wonderful, because that is a game I would absolutely love to have be remade for the next gen consoles. I know that, and I think Mildew was actually talking about this the other day. I think the difference as far as speed is not really that big at all between the two. I know there's some games that's pretty significant on both sides, on Xbox and for PlayStation. There's some things that PlayStation's better at than Xbox. There's some things that Xbox is better than PlayStation. But it really just comes down to the types of games, because they were testing a few different games. These reviewers were on both, and yeah, it's quite interesting. Some of them are shooters, some of them are RPG types. So I guess really at the end of the day, you just got to kind of see what's that load time going to look like. I guess you have to look up what reviewers are putting up prior to you buying the game, if it comes down to that. For me, again, like, it never really been, because when I go back to, and me and Gravity were talking about this, the thing that Xbox did wonderfully well this year, is Game Pass. That is the number one thing they did absolutely tremendous on. And one of the things that I go back to this, is that it resembles, if you guys remember, like mid to late term, a Blockbuster, when you had a certain membership and you could just go in there, get a game, have it for as long as you want, and when you're done with that game, just turn it in and get a different game. Literally, that Blockbuster package is packaged into this Game Pass, and it's just not one game, though. You have all these other slew of games that you can try out. Is there anything on Game Pass that's just like, okay, this is Xbox exclusive, I must go ahead and get a Xbox? No, not for me. At least not for me. There was one game, Phantasy Star Online 2, but that's a free on PC without Game Pass anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so with that aside, there really is nothing on there for Xbox to entice me to get an Xbox Series X. As far as like Halo, because that's really what comes down to. When you say Xbox games, the biggest one that they talk about, Halo, Gears of War, and used to be Mass Effect. What was the other one? Halo, Gears of War, and I know there's another game that's out there that people are just like, okay, that's like huge on Xbox. I just can't remember.
Forza
what it is.
was.
Forza.
I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, it still is. Yeah, it's Forza.
Forza looks beautiful though on it.
Yeah. It looks great. It looks
racing games out there.
Yeah, it looks.
I will say I did play a little bit of Forza 7 on my phone streaming it. When the connection was good, it was great. It was crystal clear, beautiful. I don't know what's up with my connection, but when you don't have a solid connection, it just gets super grainy. And I had I was doing good. I was in, I think, third place, and all of a sudden it just got really grainy, and I just smacked into a wall because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was today.
Yeah. We were just talking about that off stream. Yeah, we were talking about that off stream as well.
I see that game streaming, that mobile streaming, as being something huge in the future.
Yeah.
But outside of like being as somebody who works in phones, I'm going to get a little bit into that for a second. But outside of like your high end, like ultra wide 5G areas, it's going to still be kind of questionable.
So in other words, move to Kansas. If you want to go ahead and get that Google Fiber type connection, go to Kansas, Kansas City or whatever.
Well, I mean,
it's at.
even at that point, you're running off of strict Wi-Fi, so you're going to be limited by the broadband card in your phone.
Facts.
That's going to be the benefit of running these 5G chips, is they're going to be capping at like gigabit per second. Whereas if you're only running a G card or an N card in your phone, like it doesn't matter how fast your internet is in home. If your Wi-Fi is only pushing out at X amount, like say 50 or 60 megabytes per second, you're not going to be able to stream at that high end rate that you're wanting, even if you have the higher rate.
Right. Facts.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's a really good point too, because that was something that Malachi and I were talking about shortly before the stream, was that a lot of these game developers, if you notice, they tend to think very ambitiously towards the future, and
Absolutely.
Typically, like when they initially bring some of these ideas to the table, they tend to get like a little bit of a negative backlash at just from people, like just at the thought of it. Like if you look at when the Xbox One came out, and people were like, "What? No disc tray?
Yeah.
Like there's not going to be a disc drive in there? Get this out of here! Like I don't want this." Like I had the same reaction, but now that you're looking at some of these newer consoles, it's come and launch right off the bat.
To be fair, though, it wasn't just, and I know we talked about this too as well, it wasn't just the fact that it was discless and everything like that. One, it had the Kinect built into it. So a lot of people did not like that feature because some people didn't even want the Kinect. They felt like the government was spying on them.
Right.
So that
I had a friend in the military, and they couldn't even take those with them because, to be honest, it was a security risk.
Yeah. So that was one. That was one, is that had the Kinect built into it, and even if you wanted to connect onto it, it didn't recognize a lot of black people anyway. So that's one.
I remember that.
And then two, the previous CEO at the time, because it definitely wasn't Phil Spencer. It wasn't him. It was somebody else.
Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. He was like, the people were like, well, what about backwards compatibility? Which to me, I'm on the fence where it's just like, if you're buying a new console, if you get backwards compatibility, that's nice. But I'm looking for the future. That's why backwards compatibility for me, like, yes, 90% of PlayStation 4 games are forwards compatible and will work on everything like that. That's awesome. I got a whole list of games right here. But I'm getting the next gen console primarily because I want to play what's coming out at high graphic fidelity and high performance and good stuff like that. That's really what I'm getting it for. Again, nice addition, but the way that he went ahead and said it's called a 360, like, that's inappropriate. You can't say that as a CEO or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what it was. Hashtag deal with it. Like, that, I think that statement alone, at that point, it didn't matter if Xbox One was better than PS4 or vice versa. It didn't matter. I think a lot of Xbox people was just like, all right, you're going to be like that? PlayStation, take my money. I think it doesn't help Xbox either that there is that video where the CEO and what was it, Hideo, whatever like that, was just like how to share a game on PlayStation 4, and there's all this big epic music, and all of a sudden he's just like, here you go, Dave. Like they trolled the mess out of that, and this go around, it's starting to be more of Xbox getting back at that. Well, like there's good competition going on there, which is necessary.
So I got a hot take for you. I think the primary reason that Microsoft didn't do well there at the very beginning with their Xbox One and whatnot, it was not the fact that they had those pitches that went south. It was that after putting this out there and saying, this is how we're moving forward and this is what we're wanting to do, and we're going to make all these wonderful changes that we believe are better for the customer, after there was the negative backlash, they took it all away. They're like, oh, we're just kidding.
Yeah.
It showed absolutely no backbone. It showed it absolutely. If you think this is the way, if you think this is what is going to be better for us, you think that this is literally what is going to be the best way for me to game, you put your foot down and you say, hey, we really think that this is how we want to do this. We're sorry that you have negative thoughts for it. But, like, take into consideration your whole Kinect thing. They said, no, it's built into the integration of the Xbox. There's no way for us to take it off. Well, a year later, they're like, hey, we released an Xbox One that doesn't have it. And everyone kind of all at once went,
Korea was using those for spy things to keep track of what North Korea was doing.
I know.
but
it's yes, there are so many. But if you are going to be that guy that says this is the perfect way to game, this is going to be the way, and we really think that this is better for you, they should have gone with the DRM on discs. They should have given people the availability to be able to share their games with friends, to be able to say, hey, you play this now, hey, you play this now. That was a wonderful thing that they had said. It's like you can say, you've got your you got my 5. You got your 5 people or whatever in there who you can share your play games with. You can play their games, they can play yours, just so long as you're not streaming at the same time. That was a wonderful breakthrough idea. And they just ditched it. They said, nope, there was some negative backlash. So we're like,
Yeah. And I think, and to your point on that, because Tim Geddes from Kind of Funny Games Daily, which, by the way, we're our Patreon, they're announcing us as Patreon producers for the month of November. So thank you very much again for Kind of Funny Games Daily. I doubt you watch the show, but if you end up peeping this by any point, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys. Love your content, the whole 9. Tim Geddes, is it the Tim Geddes or it was Greg Miller? They had mentioned the same thing. They said, because that's what Xbox is doing now. They have a disc-less version, and they have a disc version. And I think most people are more drawn to the disc-less version right now, just because it's cheaper. You can get Game Pass on it. Granted, not enough storage, and if you upgrade for storage, you might as well go ahead and get in Series X. You know what I mean? Because that comes down to the price of a Series X when you get storage with it currently. Maybe down the road that'll drop in price. But yeah, they should have kept their foot down on it. I agree with you on that. I also think that Xbox is the type of company though to steer a little too much into what consumers want. Because look at what Game Pass is. What company in their right mind would think about selling Game Pass for $5 and you have day one games on there? You know what I mean? What company? Now granted, Xbox can do it. They got loads and loads and loads of money. They can do it. But what company would think about that? Because right now, like at the launch of it, they lost money, but they got it back because of subs. And they're going to make money in the future because of subs. You know what I mean? Like, and it wasn't, I guarantee you this was not small pocket change that they lost. And on top of that, they bought Bethesda for what, $7.8 billion, something like that?
$7.5 billion with a B.
Like what's out there Bethesda exclusive wise on Game Pass right now? You know what I mean? They're not looking about with the current. They're looking about the future, and they're able to do that because they have monetary that can last that long. Yeah, definitely.
They got enough money to buy the future. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So
2021 now.
So going back to the chat real quick, Mildewy Carrot had commented in saying, "Give me PS4 on PS5." They did that. So that's the beauty about that. He also says, "I need the old library to entertain me while the new one is being made." The beauty about this, I was about to say, and you're 100% correct about that. There's such a plethora of games that's on PS4 and Xbox cousins. You know what I mean? Like that whole list. There's just so many games out there that on both consoles that's going to be around for a while. I think the thing that entices me on PlayStation side, because again I'm going to be getting a PS5. I think the thing that entices me is how amazing these games are looking. It's different if it's just backwards compatible, if I'm just able to play it on it, but these games are being boosted in a magnificent way. 2K21, I'm not really, like, I'll get the basketball games if it's free, but that game looks amazing. It already looked great on PS4. It looks amazing on PS5. Warframe looks night and freaking day. Looks absolutely amazing. Spider-Man looks amazing. There's one more. I can't remember what it was right now, but it was literally night and day. And it's just like... As
far as one of being boosted or in one of the new games?
No, as far as being boosted. All those the games I just named are all old. Like, it was, 2018 Spider-Man. Warframe. Yeah, and that's a free game. And it looks like it should be $60. Like, it looks really, really good. And I'm very excited for that aspect of it. Not so much that's backwards compatible. It's great. That's a nice feature to have. I have a whole lot of games I still got to get through on the PS4. And yes, I wholeheartedly agree with Mildewy Carrot that when I get done with my unfortunate bug snacks, when I get done with Godfall.
Don't be like that.
I'm saying it how it is. Like when I get done with Godfall, when I get done with Spider-Man Miles Morales, when I'm waiting for Kenna to come out, when I'm waiting for Horizon Forbidden West to come out, for God of War Ragnarok to come out, I can go ahead and play these boosted games on my PS5. That is exciting. That's exciting. So yeah.
On the topic of exciting new games,
yes.
and I'm actually going to touch base on something that Abs said earlier. You mentioned the fact to be able to go back and enjoy some of these games without all of the graphical bugs that we experienced with them the first time. If you look at stuff like Dark Souls Remastered, they've taken these problem areas like Blighttown to where literally you would run at like 5 frames per second on the original hardware just because of how badly it was optimized. And so they've released like Dark Souls Remastered, and they've done all this other stuff. And that's been just an incredible way to go back and experience these masterpieces that have been put up. I say all of that to say Bluepoint has done so much more than that with Demon's Souls.
Bluepoint's amazing.
They have rebuilt this thing from the ground up. We have... I'm a part of another Discord. We have people in there who are graphical designers who make their job on that, and they were all just blowing up in the chat when they were doing that first reveal of it, because they were like, look at those environments, look at those leaves on the walls, look at all that. And this was in areas like the tutorial where you're only ever going to see it once, and you're just like, this is absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. That game looks so good, and I'm so sad I'm not going to be able to play it at launch.
Yeah. And that was something, yeah, like, because, all right, so I am going to be picking up some PS5 games this this Friday, possibly on Thursday when I get the PS5. I gotta first make sure.
Friday are so similar.
I know, right? I don't know where that came
The
from.
buttons are right next to each other.
Yeah, I keep thinking of my pre-order, and that's when I pre-ordered it. Was back in September, but I'm anticipating my PS5 to be at my location on this Thursday. And I am really hoping that I can just go ahead and pick up a couple of these games. The first game I'm going to be picking up is Godfall. Yes, I don't want to play Bugsnax, but it's going to be free until January 10th. Might as well pick it up, check it out, see what the hype is about. Astro's Playroom, going to be trying that out a little bit. Platformer, you know what I mean? A little cute little platformer, get to try that out. And then Demon's Souls, I'm going to be picking that up. And Miles Morales. All those games I'm going to be picking up, and I'm going to be trying to play through and stream for you guys, all that good stuff that's watching now or later on, whatever. But anyway, like, yes, Bluepoint, going back to my point, Bluepoint is absolutely amazing. Bluepoint is amazing. All right, because every game they touch has just been wonderful. As far as a remake goes, the actual essence of the game, like, it is what it is. Because I think, what was it? They did what wasn't the Last Guardian? What was it?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of Colossus, yeah. I couldn't remember what it was. But Shadow of Colossus looks good. Looks really good. Now, granted, it's a little choppy as far as controlling the horse. Like, that was kind of difficult and stuff like that. It has a mind of its own. Almost like, what was that game that we were playing? I think it was No Man's Sky, where it was kind of hard to fly. I think that's what it was. So it felt like that. To where it's just like they could have done a little bit better mechanically here, but it is what it is. But Bluepoint, man, they're doing something right. And if they decide to go ahead and do Legend of Dragoon for Bluepoint, I'm done. Like, they take my money, take all of it, take my bank account, have my routing number, the whole nine.
Give him Final Fantasy VIII while you were at it.
Yeah. Going to the Xbox Series X before we go ahead and go off that, my first thought that I would want to go ahead and get is I would want to go and get my Game Pass games on there. Again, going back to Xbox, they did a really good job this year. They brought me into the ecosystem, and I haven't owned an Xbox ever. Well, I lied. I did own an Xbox 360. We played maybe a couple levels of Gears of War, and we turned around and sold it and got a PS3, another one. So that was one. And then I did have an Xbox One, which I was trying to get another PS4. I won it on a cruise ship, and I was trying to get another PS4, but I accidentally selected Xbox One, and then I didn't even open it. We just ended up.
It was a sign.
Yeah, well, then we ended up giving that way at a dance battle, actually, years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. But I haven't really fully dove into Xbox outside of my friends during the 360 first gen Xbox era, and now I'm back in myself willingly trying out these games. There's a lot of games out there that I want to try out, like Ark.
Willingly.
Yeah, willingly. I'm just saying, like Ark. I want to play that.
That a good day.
Wanted to try out No Man's Sky. Wanted to try. Yeah. Ark. I had that. Wanted to try out No Man's Sky. Wanted to go ahead and jump on some Battletoads since that's back now. You know, wanted to go ahead and live that nostalgia. Always wanted to try out that Power Rangers Fighter game. Always wanted to try that out.
Battle for the Power Grid or something?
Yeah, Fight for the Grid or Power for the Grid. Yeah. I mean, I love fighter games, but I liked them a lot more earlier. But like now, not as much as I did. I can still jam on some Tekken 7 right now. But we were talking about the other day, if they're bringing out Bloody Roar, that's a day one buy for me.
Did you end up picking up Z Fighters?
No, I didn't pick that up as much.
Z Fighters is good.
Yeah. I played a little bit of it, and I
played that for like 3 days.
Yeah, as much as I played a little bit of it, and I love the graphics on it. I don't know why I didn't actually pick it up, to be completely honest with you. I just don't know if I was going to commit to the amount of time.
I would thoroughly recommend that for you, Cam.
It takes one day to get your ass kicked, though, and then you just don't want to play it anymore.
Well, that's the thing about it is, in comparison to like other fighting, like I'm not a good at fighting games, but they've implemented a lot of things into the game where it doesn't really the combos and whatnot aren't as, all right, now back 7 this way, and then quarter circle, and then up, and then over, and everything's pretty simple. Okay, quarter circle this way, double quarter circle, whatever. And then even in addition to that, you've got your standard combos to where if you just tap your square, triangle, or circle, you have your standard ones that you can go through. So people can really play the entire game without ever having to learn some of these more complicated things. Mm-hmm. And it's really just all about timing, knowing when to block, knowing when to dive in. It's really nice.
Yeah, and I
remember sitting there and trying to do this swoop thing with like my analog stick, and I yelled at the TV because I was like, I swooped. I went to the left. I went, and I like keep checking the combo again, like.
You spent hours trying to do that.
In that training mode with the 10 different combos that you're supposed to do? Yeah, probably.
And I think
I did this with Universe, especially. I would like just spend so much time on these stupid combos, and then I wouldn't use them later.
Yeah, I was about to say, and that's actually Tekken is different because it's all martial arts, so there's all these combos. There's some combos in there that you will not see used in the same way. And so it's not like your typical Street Fighter. It's not like your typical Soul Calibur. Well, actually, it's more kind of close to Soul Calibur.
I love Soul Calibur.
Yeah, Soul Calibur and Tekken. Because Tekken is martial arts, as for Soul Calibur, for the most part, is a wielder. Whether that's spear, whether that's nunchucks, whether that's whatever. You have wielder, which has its own arts.
Whatever Voldo is.
Yeah. And then you have martial arts. So that one's kind of, they're separate, but they're up there on the top level when it comes to fighter. Bloody Roar is right there with Tekken. And honestly, in some cases, I would even put it above Tekken just because once you get juggled, there's still a redeeming grace in Bloody Roar because you could transform and break the juggle. So that's always been a nice thing to kind of be like, all right, so once you get popped up, I'm not done for like you can be in Tekken at times. But
I used to do that with Ivy up on Soul Calibur. You juggle somebody with Ivy, and you can.
Yeah, I think though one thing going back to Dragon Ball Fighters, I think one of the things that I saw in it, and what drew me to it, I just never actually got it, was that it reminded me of Marvel vs. Capcom Dragon Ball Z. That's what it felt like.
That's pretty similar.
Yeah. And I was just like, and I think one thing that annoyed me, which this is a really petty reason for not to pick it up, but I think the thing that annoyed me is that they separated Goku and Super Saiyan Goku.
Like, there's like 5 different Gokus.
Yeah, and I was just like, what?
Goku.
Yeah,
I think it's Goku Blue.
Yeah, Buddha.
Goku
Yeah,
Black.
Yeah.
Black.
Well, they are separate.
Instinct Goku.
Yeah, Black is separate.
Black is not really Goku, which is fine. And Ultra Instinct, I understand that. I understand that being separate too. But as far as like the base Goku going all the way to Super Saiyan, at least 3. make them the same Goku. You know what I mean?
gotta-
Like Budokai did it perfectly. Like they did it right. They did it to where you have a certain amount of ki.
But there's different moves he uses in different forms, so you
there's
can't.
You are well in Budokai when you transform, the abilities that you originally had would transform with you. So they could just.
When are they
spinning
gonna
rate stream for you
pretend it?
guys. No.
When are they going to make it sound good?
You said what?
Never.
You said what?
We can talk about stuff that's never going to change.
What? It could if we complain enough. No, I'm just kidding. And real fast. Now, fast forwarding on over to the future, which is this Thursday. We talked about Series X and everything like that. Pretending today's PlayStation 5 day. All right, digital disc version, the whole nine.
Go in the future.
There you go. It's a transmission. So you did all that. Abs 3315. What is the first game that you are picking up? Where's your hype level for PS5? You already have it pre-ordered the whole nine. And what do you think that your first impression would be?
You're saying the first game I pick up for PS5?
Yes.
Probably Horizon, but I don't think that's coming out like too late though.
Well, pretending that they all come out tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Pretending that they all come out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'd
everything that's
probably
been
play,
announced.
Horizon, the new Horizon game that's coming out.
All right.
Is it Forbidden West?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I am really looking forward to. I had a lot of fun playing the Zero Dawn game on the PS4, which I hear that it's going to be playable on the PS5.
Literally every
well.
PS4 game
I might
except
replay it on there before playing it.
Yeah, every PS4 game except for the 10 that were on the list that for PlayStation and PT apparently. All those games.
Yeah, that was Konami's doing.
Yeah,
so.
One
of those F Konami moments.
But
the only game that was on that list that I was like, dang it, was Shadow Complex. Did you guys ever get a chance to play that?
Yes, I played a bit of that. I actually love it.
It's so fun. It's like a Metroidvania, but your dude's like a CIA agent. It's really cool.
You're telling me you didn't get down on some Afro Samurai? You didn't get down on Afro Samurai?
It was I loved the idea of telling you exactly where to slice your katana. It just felt a little too 50-50 for me. Like you'd think you did the exact same thing and you're like, oh, I missed.
That was my experience on Ultimate Tenkaichi with Dragon Ball Z. I thought that was going to be amazing. Came out, it was rock paper scissors the entire time. The most annoying game.
Pokemon.
It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I did not. And again, this is someone that loves Dragon Ball Z saying that Dragon Ball Z game was absolutely horrendous because it was not good. Mm-hmm. It wasn't. Okay, so Horizon Forbidden West would be your first game pickup. What would be the feature that you're most excited about on the PS5?
Megan.
Yes.
I think I was like geeked out about the being able to switch between games like really quick.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Basically, you can just suspend a game and switch over and resume another game. You were already playing, like, say your friends like want to start a party chat and they want to play like Apex and you're playing Final Fantasy on the PlayStation. You can just stop what you're doing and like just go to Apex and get right in the game. There's no like having to close and reopen the application. It'll just pick up right where you left off.
Yeah, and I wonder if because
isn't the best example because that's like live, but more like a race car game or something. If you want to switch to a race car game,
yeah,
just like resume where you were.
Actually, Apex would be a perfect example. If I'm playing Final Fantasy and you jump on over to Apex, I could pause my game.
Yeah, but I think you have to like load it up anyways to start a new match. And,
yeah.
But I think it might just put you back in the lobby instead of having to like relaunch the application. So it is still faster.
Yeah. I think there's one thing I will say, because Xbox has this confirmed. It looks like, all right, so for Xbox, their quick resume, if I pause the game and just go on to the another game, if I jump on Final Fantasy 14 with you guys or something like that, and then we get done playing that and I come back to the game, it doesn't reload the game. Even though it's going to be almost non-existent, it doesn't reload the game. It literally picks me up right where I'm at. So Xbox has that unlocked. PlayStation, I pause the game, I can save it. I leave the application and go to the next one. It goes like that, really fast, all good. We get done playing, I go back to my game, and it will start the game as if I'm starting it up. So it's not like a quick pickup where you're left off at. Kind of Funny Games Daily had tested that out, and there's an area where they're assuming is going to be an update for Quick Resume. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. But the way that a certain feature is in there, it looks like it is coming to PS5. It just hasn't been confirmed. So we'll see. And yes.
So you're actually excited to do that on Xbox.
Yeah, the actual quick resume Xbox.
Yeah, I'm finding the games I want to play.
Yeah, actual quick resume Xbox has on lock. The switching between games, that's on both. Like that's just going to be non-existent for both. 9-ball, PlayStation 5 day. You picked up the console. What's the first game that you're getting? What feature of the PS5 are you most excited about?
I'm calling Doc Brown, and I'm picking the DeLorean. I'm going to the future, and I'm going to get Final Fantasy 16 and bringing it back.
Nice pickup. Nice pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That actually was not my pick, surprisingly. And you said that, and now I'm like, maybe I should reconsider my pick because that's a good pick. That's a great pick.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Freaking Final Fantasy, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's practically what it is. I mean, for what it looks
as long
like.
as it's not season 8 Game of Thrones, we're fine.
It'd be really nice if they came back and made an 8th season. It's just really, really terrible that they didn't do that.
What feature are you excited about for the PS5 there, 9-ball?
I'm gonna continue to say it could be back compatibility. Well, because with me, I'm a bit different. I'm like you, but the opposite. See, until the PlayStation 4, I never played a PlayStation at all. I had only Xboxes.
You didn't have a PS? I thought you had the Yellow Light of Doom on your PS2.
Yeah, we had it for a little bit, and then it died.
He said we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
My bad.
It died. I
I
played like
thought
a
you
little
had
bit
that
of...
dog that one time. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I was playing, what game was it? Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, I want to say. And it died right there, and it never turned back on. It wouldn't like re-disc anymore. So I didn't play many PlayStation games at all. I had an original Xbox, Xbox 360, because all my friends were on Xbox at the time. And I got an Xbox One, but I play now more PlayStation, which it took me a while to get used to controller because I'm so used to Xbox controller, which I still use on my PC to this day. So that's the reason why I always say backwards compatibility, because it lets me dive back to library. That's when people go, "You've never played a Nathan Drake or a God of War."
You can say it. It's me. I always say that. You haven't played Uncharted. You haven't played God of War, Spider-Man, the whole 9.
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy 15 was another one up there. Yeah, it's me. So backwards compatibility, and then Final Fantasy 16 is your game.
Yes, we're going to the future to get that right now. Doc Brown's waiting.
Nice. What about you there, Silent?
I know this is going to come as a surprise, but Demon Souls.
Oh my god, no one saw that comment!
Really?
No,
It's an interesting choice.
But no, I'm overly stoked for it. I mentioned the Discord earlier. It's actually a Discord with about 3,000 people in it, and it's all completely based around Dark Souls. So yeah, I'm that guy. But yeah, that looks absolutely phenomenal. I've already waxed eloquent on that for long enough. But as far as the feature that I'm looking forward to, I've never been one to really like controller vibration, but they've been really, really like hyping up this like extra haptic feedback and whatnot that they have. So I'm more interested than anything else to try it out and to see how that works. Like them talking about Horizon, like you were talking about with being able to pull the drawstring back and feel the tension on the trigger actually build up.
Yeah.
And then to actually have it go taut whenever she hits the like, that just sounds interesting. I might have to play around with that a little. It may just end up being a gimmick.
Spam the slow motion. Yeah, sorry, I had to say it.
No, you're good. You're good. And then as a side note, I'm interested to see how they build the VR system, because as of right now, VR Sony is just kind of like.
Actually, you know what? It's for the past couple of years. Well, that's the thing. It existed. And then apparently, and because I figured that they just kind of brushed it to the side like they did the Vita and stuff like that.
Like literally every other Sony product.
But, well, PSP was great. PSP was great. But I will say, though, for the VR, I guess in the past year and a half, 2 years, it has been picking up on the Sony side. And they are trying to bring that to the next gen consoles because of how well it's been doing. Iron Man VR was great for them. I guess Astro Rescue Mission, I don't know. I guess that's going great. Hitman, the next Hitman is going to be also in VR, which actually looks pretty cool. Like, yeah, they had some stuff like that. So
now I can fail in VR and virtual reality. I never got Silent Assassin in a game. I always get mass murder. I never could hide the weapons right.
Well, hopefully this will, since will be your actual hands, maybe you can. We'll see. Yeah.
Nobody
Definitely
can see me if they're all dead.
Yeah, I actually have I actually have a different feature I'm excited about, but that was one I was wrestling with, which was the controller, because yeah, they have been hyping that controller up a lot, and like they even talked about it on Kind of Funny Games to where you can feel the rain in Astral's Playroom. You can feel the rain in your hand, and I think it even at one point even changes temperature when you go inside of a cold room. And then you can like, there's an area where there's like a spin wheel. You have to actually physically blow in it, and it spins the wheel, like on the screen. Like
Sony's CEO breaks into your house and dumps a bucket of water in your head.
But yeah, it was just like
already.
Yeah. Now is
experience that.
I'm not touching your controller.
now is every developer going to take full function of that feature? No. But at the same time, it's just like, it's nice of what they can do with this. So I'm excited to see that too as well. Gravity, Mark. What about you, good sir? PS5 day. You got yourself a PS5 pre-ordered. You're excited. You have it unwrapped. You have a game inside. What is that game? What's the feature you're excited about?
You know, I'm gonna take a different route with these two. Game wise, I'm actually really kind of excited for that Harry Potter game.
Yes, right.
Like that was a surprise where like that one actually caught me off guard when they showed it, where you can completely customize your character. You can, I think you can choose which house you're in. You basically get to go through the entire, like the entirety of your schooling there, like just going and just doing all of these different things.
Yeah, and craziest thing about that, it's based in the 1400s, so it's going to have nothing to do with the movies.
Yeah, where they have a lot more creative freedom with the types of storytelling that they want to put into that. And that to me was something just first of all, I do like the Harry Potter series a lot, but being able to insert yourself in that world by being able to create your own character and go through all of that personalization with it, that was something I was really looking forward to, because I'm a huge customization guy. Like Abs gives me crap all the time for spending like 30 minutes to an hour just like, okay, hold on, I gotta get the eyebrows just right. I gotta get the nose
perfect. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump those numbers up.
Oh, Abs is just like, oh, I don't care, just random, perfect.
Like,
let's do it.
Oh no.
Like, I like how the gameplay makes me feel in video games. So when I saw this one going, I gotcha, zap, I was like not for it. But the customization, totally understand. If you like sandbox games and like spending an hour plus on making your character, yes, let's say play Harry Potter.
Real fast, if I may intercede before you go ahead and talk about the features. About the Harry Potter game, yes, it's not going to take place inside actual Harry Potter. Is this going to be Fantastic Beasts, though?
Doesn't that take place after?
I'm not really too entirely sure.
So not necessarily the movies. Fantastic Beasts is only like 40, 50 years before, because if you actually watch the second one, one of the main characters has a relationship with a younger Dumbledore.
Well, I guess even with that being said, would the game lead into Fantastic Beasts in any capacity?
I'm going to assume not, because like Gravity was saying, them staying as far away from the movies as possible gives them far more licensing for going their own direction, as opposed to being,
Don't let Disney
all right, we
get a
got
hold
to
of
make
it."
sure that this lines up with oh goodness, don't even joke.
like
Let Disney get it, and it's over.
kind of like Knights of the Old Republic, where they're real
Right.
far back.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to go anywhere near the Star Wars continuity because that was supposed to be there.
It's like they're in the room with us.
What about your feature there, Gravity? What features are you most excited for?
Now the feature, I'm actually going to take this one because I know that this one in this household is going to be utilized the most. That's actually going to be the screen sharing feature.
Yeah,
Because
picture. Yep.
very often, Abs and I will be playing on 2 different consoles, playing 2 different things, and very often, like, we'll be like, "Oh, like, hey, can you come here real quick? Like, I want to show you this scene, or I want to show you this pause or this picture. It's really funny. I want to show this to you." And for us, like, just being able to just be like, "Oh, hey, boop boop, there you go." Like, here, like, just put it in your, like, you can put it off on the side, like, you can put it, like, in the corner, like, you can put it, like, even off screen. Like, just to be able to have that ability, at least in my household, I know that I'm going to be utilizing that feature a lot.
Right.
So
Hope you're not in the middle of a fight. Boop.
Yeah, so just being able to have Abs just be like, "Oh my gosh, like, I need to show you something really quick," and then so I can have her screen in the bottom corner of my screen, so that way I can just be watching her, I can be playing my game. She can be like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" And I can just be like, "No, I didn't, but I'm sure it's there."
It's also good for, I think, if you want to stream and say that, like, you're streaming your gameplay and then your friend shares their screen with you and it goes on the stream. Like, you can see your teammates' gameplay and your gameplay on the stream.
Right. It's almost like a split screen then. At that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, or
Cool.
it's like
That's a
kinda like
feature that I'm
video
really
screen
interested in.
that you
Yeah.
can talk
Now-
and put in places.
Yeah, now we'll have to test that out when everyone else is get their PS5s and all that good stuff as well. To
Yeah,
see if
in
it
June.
would. Yeah, well, I'll just say if it does allow you to go ahead and stream
Yeah,
like
it's gonna
that, that'd be
take forever.
wonderful. But I mean, they did say that they're going to come back out on Black Friday, so just saying around that time period, be on the lookout for that.
Your optimism never gets old.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
going to go grab my sword, shield, and spear and get ready to fight for one.
Make it-
There's actually, so for me, definitely very excited for it, and I mean, and not trying to rub it in, but fortunately for me, I don't have to wait too much longer. Just because I was able to lock that in. I see Silent looking at me. No, but
No, that's not. I'm not looking at you negative. It's like, yeah, no, I get it.
but the game.
There's a part of me that's like, I don't have to spend $600 right now. This is so good.
Right. The game that I'm actually most excited for, which is surprising. Now, as far as history shows, it is Final Fantasy 16. Most currently, the way I'm feeling now, it is Godfall for one reason only. And that is because Ghost of Tsushima was so freaking good. It was so good. And I had no idea. I went inside the game, no expectations, have no idea what this game is going to be about. Was hoping that it would be somewhat similar to Way of the Samurai, because I love those games back in the day. But knowing it's an entirely different company, that it may not live up to that. Ghost of Tsushima was really, really good. And yeah, and it blew my mind. It's still not a game of the year for me, just because I love Final Fantasy VII Remake a lot. But it definitely made those questions of Final Fantasy VII Remake being game of the year or not. And that's hard for a brand new game I've never heard about to do. So going into the next gen consoles and all that good stuff, I'm kind of curious to see of a game that has no talk about it, just trailer hype. That's it. It doesn't even have reviews right now. I'm kind of curious of how that's going to be. A slasher looter that you can play with 2 other buddies. Like, get out of town. Let's go ahead and let's do this thing. And the armor looks epic. It looks great. I even saw, like, I was losing some of my hypeness about it in mid this year, to be honest with you. And then I saw a quick, and pretty much you died, and then almost in seconds you respawned as a respawn point. And it was so fast. And I was like, wow, this looks really good. So I was very, very excited for that. So that's the game that I am excited for. We'll take a look at that. What's up?
I mean,
Tate?
it's Greek Fantasy Star.
Yeah. It was really. I'm very excited about that. And then the features, because I'm tied for 2. features I'm excited about. Have to agree with Gravity Mark. Picture in picture. What's up, son? Picture in picture. Very excited about that. And then the other feature that I am excited about too as well. It wasn't the controller. I had it.
Extremely excited.
Yeah, it was very excited. Picture in picture because that was the first
Oh,
one.
so excited it just left his mind.
It did. Everything just happened at once. So it threw me off just now. But I'm definitely excited for the picture in picture, and I am kind of curious to see how the cards are gonna work. Like the little cards of there between switching and the assistance, so I don't have to go up there and look up YouTube of how to help out through a game I'm stuck on.
Videos. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how those cards are gonna work. So
they've got something stupid like 600 help videos already set aside for Demon Souls.
Yeah. Now, granted,
you know what? Do you want us to just do it for you?
Yeah. So we'll have to see. But yeah, we're only again today's in celebration of the Xbox Series S and X Day.
Better than the other way. You have to
if we're lucky, at the end of this video, Gravity Mark would take a look at his tracking and see that USPS is actually delivering in the next hour. If we're lucky,
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
It's dark outside.
The shipping companies say they have until 8 p.m.
I've had a company come around 8, 9 o'clock before. I was coming home and the UPS guy, hey, you got package.
Yeah, you got a potential hour left. Anyone again that's watching this right now, again, thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, make sure you guys are following us on social media platforms: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, ALWT Gaming, practically everything. Unless you're on YouTube, just type in "At Least We Tried Gaming." Email is atleastwetried.game@gmail.com. Patreon, of course, we have one, and Anchor. Thank you very much for listening and tuning in. Real quick, before we go ahead and wrap up the show, because again, we're kind of going over on time, which is perfectly fine because we had a good time. Silent. Very much pleasure to have you on the show, man. We appreciate you. We love you, man. Where can people find you?
Well, Silent _Sforzando is going to be my PlayStation tag. As of right now, that's going to be the only social gaming that I do. But here I am, here about an hour northwest of the bunch of you guys. So that's a lot of fun here in the OHIO.
All day, OH.
It's a weird pride. Yeah, it's a weird pride here in Ohio. You know, in Texas they're like, we like things big. New York, we're like, yeah, everything's fast. In Ohio, we're like, we're gonna move. But yeah,
and then we don't.
It's right.
I don't
always
hate
say
Michigan.
we are. Then we're just here. It's like the weather's a little weird.
Yeah.
Ohio, the one place that you only live here because you were born here.
Facts. Or military, because that also happens too as well. A lot of military.
Like, I don't think anyone moves to Ohio for funsies. Like,
Ohio's one of the few places where you can have all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Yeah.
You can.
Or
sometimes in 1 day.
Yeah. And and then that's pretty much it. Again, thank you very much, Simon, for tuning in and joining us and gracing us with your presence. I almost said presence, with your presence. So thank you very much again for that. And again, like I said, make sure you guys are checking us out on social media platforms. And lastly, very lastly, there's going to be more streams out this week. You guys are going to see streaming of unboxing from this guy of his Xbox Series S when it comes in, unboxing from this guy when my PS5 comes in, as well as gaming content with both of us. And Smite Night this Thursday, I will not be partaking in that because PS5. You know?
You can bring a new PS5 to well, that depends on my PlayStation 4 is still alive.
Yeah. That was actually my third thing that I was excited about was the boosted for the PS5. But anyway, and then of course if you guys are going to repsports.com, REPP sports.com, type in ALWT Gaming when you guys are ordering out there. You guys can get your Raise Energy, which is highly recommended by ALWT Gaming. Workout supplements, workout powders, the whole nine. Yes. Quite delicious stuff. ALWT Gaming. What was that? Absolutely 315?
15% off, damn it.
15. Till next time, everybody. Yeah, get one. Get one. Replenish it. Control Alt.
Complete.
Peace, guys.